Okay, I'm live on Instagram. Hey. Okay, so I'm waiting for Facebook to send out the notifications. I haven't been live on here in forever. But for some reason, I can't go live on Facebook. I don't know what's going on Facebook, so I updated my phone to the new software system. Hi, Kat. And I even updated my Facebook, and for some reason I can't go live. So here I'm on Instagram, and maybe this is a sign for me to start going live on here more often. Hi, Sunkiss, Cyrene, welcome. So I'm gonna make it quick because today I am going to talk about your trauma, why you shouldn't share it, and why you should rewrite your story. Again, I realize that repetition is important, so I am addressing this once again based on the conversation we have been having in our charm group. And I know there are a lot of new people in the group. I know there's some newbies, etc. And I know that a lot of people have that old way of thinking. You look really pretty. Thanks, girl. Okay, so I am here to help you shift your mindset and change your programming, because if you believe that the only way you can connect to other people is through sharing trauma, I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't do that, why you need to stop immediately. And I'm talking about especially the men that you're dating, including your husband. Because a lot of women were like, what do you mean I can't share my traumas with my husband, blah blah blah, how do I connect to him, and how do I become close to him, and how do I trust him? There were so many questions. All right, but I'm here to tell you that there are ways that you can connect with another human being without trauma bonding. Okay, so this Thursday, ladies, on my Patreon, if you're listening now on Instagram, okay, hit the link in the bio. When the live is over, hit the link in the bio and come and sign up to the Patreon. If you're listening to this on YouTube, because I'm going to post it on YouTube, the link in my bio, in the description. All right, come and join the Patreon and come and listen to this meeting. We are going to talk about ways that you can emotionally connect with a man in a healthy way, without trauma bonding, without sharing your deepest, darkest secrets that only you and your therapist should know. Because there are ways that you can connect to people. This new way of trauma bonding and oversharing, I do not know where it came from, because when I was in my day, it wasn't like that. Okay, even though I fell victim to share my trauma in my 20s, because I thought that I listened to bad advice. I listened to advice where people were telling you that you need to be open and honest. I don't know if you all are commenting, so if you all can hear me, just type yes in the comments. I can see people joining, but I don't know if people are hearing me. Type yes in the comments and let me know that you're hearing me, because God forbid I record this thing and you all can't hear me. Okay. So, okay, great. Hey Sarah, Spreadcraft. Okay, good, awesome. Yes. So there are definitely healthy ways that you can emotionally connect with a man without trauma bonding. All right. So what I want to talk about today is rewriting your story. All right. So your past is not your future. We already know this, okay? But the more you talk about your past, and the more you talk about your traumas, and why you are damaged, and why you are the way you are, etc., the more you are reinforcing your trauma to be your future. Talking about your traumas is not, especially to people, your friends, people that you're dating, is not healing. It doesn't activate the healing, because I'm sure many of you have talked about your trauma with other people, with men in the past, and you still not healed, and your trauma was used as a weapon against you. It was thrown in your face. And you're gonna think, well, yeah, my guy is a pretty good guy and he's a sweet guy. Even good guys would show that back in your face, because everyone is you push out. Everyone in that you see right now is a reflection of you. I am you, you are me. We are all the same, okay? So when you have this trauma, and you share this trauma, and then the person that you trusted to, you know, understand and empathize with you, use that trauma against you, you are always taken aback by surprise, okay? So then you gotta think, you gotta have a different mindset, okay? You gotta think, well, oh my God, why are people doing this to me? Maybe, just maybe, the reason why people are throwing that trauma back in your face and triggering you, maybe that's a sign for you to heal once and for all, okay? And stop sharing this trauma. Because if you do not share that trauma, okay, if you don't talk about you getting, I don't know, molested when you were a kid or whatever, or your ex abused you, or you your abusive relationship with your parents, etc. If you do not talk about that, then they would not be throwing that in your face. All right? Someone, okay, I'm not okay. Someone sent a request to join the live. I'm sorry, I'm not adding anyone to the live because I really want to, you know, get through this and talk about this so that I can, you know, upload this on YouTube, because I feel like more people need to know about this. Hi, I know I need to stop. I am trying, but need more ideas. Need more ideas? What are you trying to stop? Are you trying to stop trauma bonding? Because I hope that's not what you're doing. But anyways. So, your past is not your future. You are not your trauma. You shouldn't allow your trauma to define you, because when you get into a relationship with someone and you share that trauma, you have to remember that you are the one that is setting the tone for that relationship moving forward. So whatever information you share with this person, whatever you do with this person, is setting the tone of how that relationship is going to be in the future. If you want to have an idea of what your relationship with your boyfriend or, you know, anybody that, if you want to have an idea of what it's going to look like, all right, in the future, like let's say if you are getting married, pay attention to what you're doing right now in the relationship, all right? So let's say you start dating a guy and you go over to his house for the first time and you clean his house, okay? And then you get in a relationship and you clean in his place and you clean up after him. You are building up his expectations for him to always expect those acts of services from you, okay? There are going to be times where you don't want to do it anymore, but because he expects you to do these things, because you are the one that set him up to expect these things, then that is what your relationship is going to be like. All right? Because at the end of the day, I am not the type of girl that will go over to a guy's house and clean his place, because if his place is dirty, first of all, I'm asking, why is his place dirty? And secondly, where is your maid? Because if he can't afford a maid, then I don't need this guy in my life. All right? I have someone that comes over to my place and clean my place every week. And it has always been like that. You want new ways to emotionally connect now that I don't talk about trauma. Okay, I get it. So, you know, come to the meeting on Thursday, okay? Come to this meeting on Thursday. On my Patreon, I'm going to be talking about how to emotionally connect with a man in the healthy way and not through trauma bonding. Because, and I've talked about this in the Facebook group before, when I talked about, you know, the shift that happens when you share your trauma. And if you listen to that live, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But for those of you that missed it, if you can go back in your past and pay attention to the point in which you shared that trauma with the man that you were dating at the time, you will notice that is when the relationship changed, and that is when the switch happened, where he started to be more withdrawn, where he started to pull away, where he started to get comfortable because you ruined the fantasy. Another thing that a lot of women don't understand, because if they were reading, if you all were on the Patreon and you all were coming to the book club meetings that we have every Sunday when we read The Art of Seduction, I mean, amazing book. I always recommend that book. All right. One of the things that you ruin when you expose yourself like that, and you just dump all that trauma onto this man who at first had you on this pedestal, because men in the beginning, they see you as perfect, okay? They're like, oh my God, this girl is amazing, this girl is perfect, oh my God. And then you come and you talk about this trauma, and you basically admitted that you were treated like shit, and nobody gave a shit about you, nobody cared about you. Men are disgusted when you share their trauma. And even if they are not disgusted, they can't help it. They cannot help you. Okay? A man is not qualified to help you heal from your trauma. That your man, unless he's your therapist, all right? And your man shouldn't be your therapist ever, ever. Okay? If your man happens to be a therapist, you need to find another therapist, not him. But anyways, men like to solve problems, and solving the problem of trauma, which is healing, because at the end of the day, you are the one that is supposed to do the work. You're the one supposed to do the inner work, and you're the one that's supposed to kickstart your healing journey. No one can do it for you, not your man, nobody. And I feel like people that insist on sharing their trauma with their romantic partners or their husbands or their wives or something like that, I really do believe that these people are not genuinely interested in healing. Where can I see the video later? It's in the Facebook group. The most a man can say is, I'm so sorry that happened to you. What is that really doing for you in the long run? Exactly. Thank you, Anna. Anna gets it. Thank you. All right. So, love your look. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Serenity. Yes. So, at the end of the day, ladies, you have to rewrite your story, because I talked about it briefly in that video as well. All right. So you have to remember that you are not your trauma. You need to heal, and rewriting your story is a great way to start the healing journey. Okay? Rewriting the story. I talked about revision on the Patreon. I talked about, going back in the past and visualizing, the memories of the trauma and how it happened and everything like that. And then you do the emotional alchemy, where you change the story to the outcome that you prefer. Okay? So let's say that maybe your father didn't spend a lot of time with you when you were growing up. You go back to the memories where maybe he didn't show up to your ballet recital or something like that, and you imagine him showing up at the recital and doing everything that you would have preferred him to do if he was there, and if he was a more present father. Okay? This is something that actually works. Look it up. Look up Neville Goddard revision technique. You can find it on YouTube, and you can even find the revision technique on TikTok. Okay? Because if I go into it, we're going to be here all day, and I don't want to do that. Amen. Such an empowering message. Thanks, Kristen. All right? So, everyone has a story. Everyone has trauma. If we're going to address this in a metaphysical sense, we all choose to come here. We choose our parents. We choose the vessel that we're in, which is the body. Okay? And we all choose how we were going to experience our trauma. Everybody has trauma. Even animals have trauma. All right? So, somebody who doesn't have trauma, in my opinion, either doesn't exist, or maybe this is an NPC type of consciousness. All right? But everyone has trauma. How you deal with that trauma is what is going to shape you and make you the person that you are today, or the person that you're supposed to come. Why do people say to talk about abuse and expose abuse? I agree, that is not helpful. Because if you expose the abuse, okay, let's say for some reason, because again, you gotta look at this in a metaphysical way, ladies. All right, look at the bigger picture. Look at it from a spiritual perspective. All right. Let's say they were able to eliminate abuse. Then there are going to be different ways that we're going to come incarnate here and experience trauma. So, and I know people don't like to hear this, but at the end of the day, everyone has trauma. Everyone. Wealthy people has trauma. Poor people have trauma. Men have trauma. Women have trauma. Children have trauma. Even animals have trauma. Everybody has trauma. Everybody has a story. So when you are burdening another person with your trauma, you got to remember that this person also have trauma, and maybe this person was able to overcome their trauma. All right. If you thank you all things Tess. Thank you, Tess. If you want to talk about your trauma, talk to your trauma about your to your therapist. If there is someone that you know that is physically abusing someone, and you can do something about it, like maybe report this person to the police or something like that, yes, you can go ahead and do that. But at the end of the day, sitting around talking about trauma all day is not achieving anything. It's not helping anyone, because people are staying in the victim mode, the victim consciousness, and they are not growing, and they're not learning from their trauma. You understand you all understand what I'm saying, right? Do you understand, ladies? Are you all with me? Because I hope I'm not losing anyone. Okay? Only share on a need-to-know basis. Who needs to know? Who needs to know? If it's not your therapist, it should be the police. If it's maybe you are suffering at the hands of someone violent or something. Okay, good. You ladies are understanding me. Perfect. So you got to remember, everybody has a story. And another thing that you have to remember that most people are not ready to hear is that nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody. Nobody. If you have been reading the books that we've been reading in the book club, you will realize that people are too concerned about themselves. They don't give a shit about your trauma or your issues or whatever. Nobody cares. Yes, it's a new thing to hear. And it's sad that it's actually a new thing. But at the end of the day, if you've been getting your programming from the Matrix will tell you, be honest and open. If you're talking to a therapist and the therapist is telling you to be honest and open and share your trauma with your spouse or your boyfriend, fire that person and find someone else. All right? No one cares. No one cares. And if we realize that nobody cares, I mean, it's a hard pill to swallow, okay? And it's a bruise to the ego. At the end of the day, it is. However, you got to understand that nobody really cares. And if you're talking to a guy about your trauma and he appears to be empathetic and listening, okay, because the only men that are going to stick around and find that attractive are narcissist abusers, okay? Because, for example, you share your trauma with all your exes, okay? Or you share your trauma with the men that you're dating. Not a real person, a normal person, a normal healthy person is not going to be turned on by that. A normal healthy person there's going to be like alarm bells ringing in their heads. They're going to be looking at this as a red flag, all right? A normal healthy person, okay? A narcissist is going to use that, and they're going to appear to be your savior, and they're going to act like they're going to save you, and they're going to take care of you, because they care about you and your trauma, and they want to make you whole or whatever, and they want to heal you. But that's not really the case, because what the narcissist is going to do is inflict more trauma. So if you find that you have been dating the same guys over and over and over, what other conversations are you having with these men? And what other conversations are you having with yourself? And what is the story that you are telling? Because your story is important, okay? Can you talk about Lady D is an exception to the rule? How is she an exception to the rule? Diana was a mess. Okay? Her behavior, and this is what people don't talk about, okay? Because, I know the media love her. If the media was treating Diana like the way they were treating Megan, it would have been a whole different story, okay? Diana was doing way worse than what Megan is doing when she was in the royal family, okay? She was out there and she was an embarrassment to the royal family. So I'm confused. Like, who's asking this question about Lady D? I'm confused because I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what you're asking me. Okay? Because usually when people think about Diana, they're not thinking about, a strong woman. It's a damaged person. Marilyn Monroe. Damage. And people that become their trauma, they make their trauma their personality trait. It never ends well for them, because look what happened to Diana. Look what happened to Marilyn Monroe. All right. Thank you, Adji. If you have trauma, find professional help. Talk to someone neutral rather than someone who is close to you. I agree. Maria, can you do a video on the best place to find provider men? Okay, this this question is coming from someone who is either a beginner or someone who is not on my Patreon, or maybe also not in the group. Okay, because if you were, you would know how to find them. And I'm not making a video on how to find a provider man, because most people are not going to get the message, because they're not going to do what I tell them to do. Because I'm not the type of person that's going to tell you to go to a high-end bar and Google high-end places and go freestyling. That's not what I do. Diana was weird, to be honest. Maybe had a good heart, but weird in behavior. This enables trauma bond. That's true, ladies. Listen to Maria. People will use your trauma against you. Yes, they will. And you know, the reason why you feel close to someone, okay, when you're talking to your trauma, is because you are releasing that energy onto this person. So when you release a burden, how do you feel after you release a burden? You feel good, right? If you're lifting a heavy load and you release it, you feel good. So that's why, you know, you think you're bonding, but it's not really bonding. It's an illusion. Okay? And offloading your trauma onto someone else who is not a professional is you're going to feel good temporarily, and yes, you're going to feel like you've bonded with that person, but you haven't, because at the end of the day, a lot of people that are out there trauma bonding, they are not really getting to know the other person. They're not. So probably she plays victim, but when Lady Diana played victim, everyone took her side. I meant in that sense. Okay. Yeah, like both Megan and Diana and these people, they need help. These people have a lot of work to do, because and this is why we don't put celebrities and people on a pedestal, because to this day, Marilyn Monroe and Princess Diana are still on this pedestal, and so many people admire them. But these women were very damaged women. Okay, and when you're a damaged person and you have all this trauma, because I'm sure Marilyn Monroe, I'm sure she shared her trauma with all those men, because Marilyn Monroe wanted to be saved so bad. She wanted to be saved so bad, and none of those men saved her, because you know what? She died before she realized that she's the one that's supposed to save herself. Nobody's coming to save you, and nobody's coming to heal you. You have to save yourself and you have to heal yourself, okay? Rewrite your story, all right? So remember, everybody has a story, everybody has trauma, all right? Rewriting your story helps you get past the trauma, all right? This is my journal, all right? And, you know, my cat went to tongue on it. Okay, but, you know, I really love this journal, because, you know, I write in this journal a lot. And I do a lot of revision in this journal. You know, like, you know, if there's something that happened in my relationship, or me and my husband had a terrible argument or something like that, because, you know, if you're in a relationship or if you're married, it's going to happen. I will revise that. I will go and write in my journal exactly how I would have wanted the day to be. And I do the emotional alchemy. And the emotional alchemy is, yes, you feel the bad feelings, okay? The feelings that make you feel bad. You feel them. But then you change them, because now you have rewritten it, and you feel how you would have felt if it had gone the way you wanted. All right? And, you know, I know this is not the type of information that is out there. A lot of relationship gurus and a lot of people, these people don't understand, all right? These people are regurgitating information that has been recycled for decades and decades, all right? That being open and honest thing, it needs to stop, all right? So if you're in the Charm group, and by the way, if you want to join the group, if you're listening, on Instagram, check the link in my bio. If you're listening to this video on YouTube, check the link in the description below and come and join the group. All right. So being famous for being a victim isn't the greatest. Better to be famous for accomplishments. Absolutely. I feel seen. Trauma bonding feels good, but it isn't productive at all. It feels good because when you release a burden, you feel good. It's a nice relieving feeling, and you're like, oh my God, yes, it feels good. But it's a temporary feeling, and what usually happens? You end up talking about the trauma again. You know, because after you share that trauma and you release that trauma, and you're not healed from that trauma, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna keep talking about it? Because you really you can't, because he's gonna get tired of you. All right, and ladies, you don't have to tell your husband everything. There are things that you can keep for yourself as a woman. And women, modern women don't understand mystery. They don't understand how to be mysterious. Okay, I'm telling you, if you maintain mystery in your relationship is going to be a lot better. It's going to last longer, and that man will be chasing you for as long as you entertain him. All right, my husband is still chasing me to this day. I know how to reel it back in. If you all remember, back in 2021, I was having issues with him. I packed my bags and I went to Mexico for 3 months. Okay, I disappeared, and for the entire 3 months, he called me every single day. He would call me before I go to bed. Okay, because I knew he missed me. You gotta let these men miss you. You gotta have some kind of mystery in your relationship. You understand? Because most women that are having issues in their relationship are not gonna buy a flight and go away for about a week without saying anything. Oversharing is an epidemic. It absolutely is. Okay? Since I came back from that trip, things have been great. Okay? Every time the situation starts to become toxic and overbearing, I remove myself. Will this video be available later to watch? Yes, I'm going to post this video on my YouTube channel. All right? So if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, check the link in the description. No, check the link in my bio here on Instagram. All right? So, ladies, stop trauma bonding. You can connect, you can emotionally connect, and you can bond with people without talking about your trauma. Rewrite your story. Stop talking about your trauma. You are not your past, and you are not your trauma. Do not let your trauma define you. Don't do it. Because at the end of the day, yes, you have trauma, but you're not special. You are not special. You know why you're not special? Because everyone has trauma. Everyone. What do you say when a man asks you why your last relationship ended on a first date? Now, that question is a very loaded question, okay? I feel like, that's an intrusion. Calm down. It's only a first date, okay? But the best answer to give is that, we were great together. He was a great guy, but, it just wasn't the right time. We wanted different things. Make up something. Say he had to move to another state or another city or something. Like, ladies, you all have to learn how to lie. Don't be out there telling the truth. Okay? If your last relationship ended because of abuse or whatever, do not tell that to anyone that you're dating. Keep that between you and your therapist. Because when you tell a man that, your ex was abusive towards you or whatever, what do you think is going to happen? He's going to think, well, first of all, he's going to think that he doesn't have to try hard to impress you. Okay? Because he's going to be like, oh, well, I don't have to try hard. I don't have to compete with that guy because, that guy is a piece of shit. All right? All right? And thank you all things that Tess, because I was just about to lead into that. So Tess said, never say anything bad about the guy you were with. That's another thing. Stop bad mouthing your exes, because it reflects badly on you. It says more about you than them. You know why? Because you were the one that were with them. So if your ex was a piece of shit, then why were you with a piece of shit? You all see where this is going? See what I mean? When I met my husband, he never said a single bad word about his exes. And that was a breath of fresh air, because everybody was out here bashing their ex. Everybody. Okay, so at the end of the day, ladies, do not speak poorly about your ex, because it reflects badly on you. Because at the end of the day, you are the one that choose to be with that person. You are the one that put up with that behavior. Okay? And then you wonder why every guy that you're dating is treating you poorly. Because you're telling them how you were treated in the past, and you are telling them what you're going to put up with. Why would you do that? Because if you are focused on the trauma is going to keep happening. It's going to keep repeating. Because everybody is you pushed out. All right? If you believe you are a victim, people, even good guys, even nice people are going to become the villain in your life. We were just very different people. It's not a lie. It's just not too much information. Thank you, Spirit Calf. You have to make them believe that the bar was set really high, even if it wasn't. Yes, because you are rewriting your story. You are on your journey to becoming the best version of yourself. You are on this journey to become a high-value woman. Would a high-value woman put up with an abusive ex? No, she wouldn't. So you change that story. Okay? All my exes were amazing. Which is true, because I've never been in an abusive relationship, because, I guess I was, pretty good in dealing with my traumas. But I remember when I would share my trauma, people would just, like the men, they would change. 1 minute they're all over you. 1 minute they have you on a pedestal. 1 minute like, you're the most beautiful thing they've ever seen. And as soon as you open your mouth and you share that trauma, the energy of the entire relationship shifts into something, and you can feel it. And you all know exactly what I'm talking about. You can see it in their eyes. You can see it by the way they treat you. I mean, come on, ladies. If you are connected to your intuition, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right? Sunkiss said, I love your advice so much. This helps. You're welcome, because I always hope that my message and my teaching is helping someone. But the information that you're going to get out there, mainstream information, pick me information, it's not going to help you, because it keeps you in a loop, and you keep experiencing the same things, the same behaviors, the same people over and over and over, and you're wondering why things are not getting better for you. You're wondering why you can't attract a man who is generous, and a man who is a provider, and a man who worships the ground you walk on. You can't attract a man to treat you right. You wonder why. Nobody's going to treat you right if your story is that you're a victim and you just allow people to just abuse you. All right? Exactly. I'm a private person in general, so keeping my mouth shut helped me when I started dating. Okay. Thank you. Y'all. Trixie. Oh my goodness. Okay. So ladies, I hope that this live was helpful. This was Trixie. I hope this live was helpful. I am going to post this live on my YouTube channel, because I feel like more people need to hear this. And I'm going to remind you, ladies, one more time before I go. we're going to come together on my Patreon on Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to talk about how you can emotionally connect with a man without trauma bonding. All right? There are ways that you can connect with a man and connect with people without spilling your guts and talking about all your abusive past, etc. Hey, Trixie. Y'all, I have 8 cats, okay? And people think I only have Trixie. Because Trixie, I feel like Trixie loves me the most. Okay, bye. Yeah, I feel like Trixie loves me the most because she's always around. Always around. Like, you know, when I'm working and she hears my voice, she wants to come close. She's working, like when I'm doing my Patreon meeting, she's trying to work on the computer and stuff like that. So, and I have 8 cats. I have other cats, and they're very sweet. But I don't know. Me and Trixie have a bond, I guess. Send a request. Okay, why are you all sending requests to join the live? Okay, ladies. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna end the live here. And I'm going to download it and I'm going to post it on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. And I'm going to try to do more lives here. I know I always say that, y'all, but I'm going to try to do more lives here on Instagram because Facebook is getting on my nerves lately, y'all. Like, I tried going live multiple times and it just wasn't happening. Okay? So, even when I updated the app and everything. So, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's a good sign to, you know, start doing my lives over here. Because I need to put some more attention on this account, you. I really do. But anyways, one more time, thank you for joining my live, and I'll talk to you ladies on Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye, y'all.